Recording is on.
And we are live. Welcome everybody to another episode of You Know What? Let me just say podcast. I am your host Ray. With me as always, we have Fada.
I'm gonna fight this cold weather.
It's supposed to be one of the coldest days of this winter. Are you ready for it?
Absolutely fucking not.
I'm not gonna lie to you. As a person that loves winter, I don't think I'm ready for this winter, man.
I don't know.
Today, a couple of days I walked outside and I was like, damn, I need a jacket. My body ain't going. I don't think my body's suited for the winter no more. Kind of sad about that. I I used to like. I'm not gonna lie. You'd have thought I was crazy because I used to be one of the people that go out there with no coats on and like just be cool. And I've done it in Chicago a couple of times too when I was up there. I can't do it no more. I'm sad. But on to the first topic, and we're gonna start off with a good note. That Sonic the Hedgehog trailer that just dropped, and basically it's a redesigned Sonic and a couple more things they showed in the trailer. And to me, Sonic looks better than he did the last time. So I want your opinion on it. How do you feel about that? The new really designed Sonic.
Well, thank God that they didn't make him look like a fucking crackhead. Because I don't know what the fuck that original version for.
Oh my god,
I saw that trailer and
was
I was like,
horrendous.
what the? They tried to give that nigga normal eyes. I'm like, what are you doing? Lord.
Oh man, dog. I'm like you. When I saw that, I said, "What the fuck are they doing to Sonic?" I said, "I get it. You just make him try to go for the realistic look, but don't go too realistic where he's not noticeable." It looks like
Yeah, I also want to know why in the original like trailers and shit, why he always looks so damn wet. You ever notice that? They look like they don't hose them down every scene. They look like they just wiped them off real quick. You look wet. Like, what the fuck are they doing?
oh man. I said, you know what? You're right. He did look wet all the fucking time, and
And
I just wonder why he looked like Crash Bandicoot to me more than fucking Sonic. Like,
bruh, bruh, like I knew. I just want to ask, as they were designing it, did they not think that that shit was going to look terrible? Because when we saw that shit, I'm pretty sure everybody reacted the same way. That like, what the fuck is this? And I think it's funny how there was so much backlash. They had to delay the movie so they could fix the nigga. I feel like that's hilarious to me.
that is hilarious, and that's a lot of money too. But I feel they should have known better. And I said this from the jump. All right, you must have Hollywood. I can understand like if you're not into Sonic the Hedgehog or know about the fan base of Sonic the Hedgehog, then you're just not gonna know how much people love Sonic the Hedgehog. People love Sonic the Hedgehog, all right? It's kind of the reason why he's still around. He hasn't died off because of his very, very, very passionate fan base. And I felt like there should have been at least one guy there that'd been like, I don't think you should do this, bro. I feel the whole time I'm thinking, yo, this should have been the one person that's been like, bro, I don't think you should do this. This passionate fan base, they are going to shit all over this movie before it even comes out. And I feel like the corporation was like, man, it ain't gonna be like that. It ain't that serious. And they said, change it. I don't like it. Change this. It was like, yo, damn. I guess we got it. You know, he goes to the back of the board. And I know he mad because he's just like, I done told these niggas this shit wouldn't work. Why the fuck would they listen now?
Now you done wasting a whole bunch of money and doing shit that you know was not going to work in the motherfucking first place. And now look at them now. They happy. If you just listen to what the fuck I said the first time, you wouldn't be in this predicament.
Yeah, you are absolutely correct. So what you think about the trailer in general? Because I'm not expecting a Oscar performance like a Tom Hanks and Mr. Rogers, because that has Oscar written all over it. I just want a stupid movie that I can just enjoy and just like, okay, I've seen it. What do you think?
It's funny you just mentioned Mr. Rogers because the commercial literally came on my TV just right now. But um, so like when I saw the trailer, I was first of all, I was marveled at the way they made Sonic look. You know what I'm saying? Like he had that like Sega Dreamcast kind of feel to him. So I was like, okay, this dope. But then as I was watching the trailer, I was like, okay, this actually looked like it could be a real decent movie. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, it's not like Oscar worthy and shit. But like if y'all like had a night out of drinking or whatever, or y'all had like a little bit of drinks or a little bit of food or whatever, and y'all went to go watch a new Sonic the Hedgehog movie, I feel like you'll leave that theater pretty satisfied with what you got. You really what I'm saying? So I think it's just one of those, I think it's one of those movies for the boys. You won't go see you won't take your girl to go see it unless she likes Sonic 2, which is fucking weird. But I feel like that's just a movie for the boys.
I agree with you. I feel like if any of your friends is like, you want to go see the Sonic movie, it was like, yeah, why not? I don't have a problem with it. I feel the same way about that Scooby Doo trailer and that Scooby Doo movie. It's like, but I feel like I would see that more with kids than a couple of guys. I don't know. That's because when this dropped, the Scooby Doo trailer dropped, and I thought, oh wow, this is. I had the same reaction I did with the Peanuts. I said, okay, this looks actually pretty good and funny. I hope they. It's like I feel like they're not going to fuck it up this time. I don't know. Did you look at the Scooby Doo trailer
Nah,
at
I
all?
haven't seen it yet.
All right. Well, you see the Scooby Doo trailer. It's real good. But back to the Sonic. I like they have references to like Green Hill Zone and the Loop De Loop. I feel like a lot of people when they saw that they go, "Ooh, the Loop De Loop! Oh, snap! That's Green Hill Zone." And I feel like when people looked at that, I feel like there's a lot of aspects of old Sega games they got right. Um, Brad, I try to get him on the show because Brad likes talking about Sonic too. But he pointed out the Puma shoes, the shoes on his feet, and they're like Pumas. And he was like, I guarantee you, they're going to sell those as real live shoes. And he was thinking, you think people will get it? I was like, oh, people will get it. Those are going to be like the fucking Yeezys when they sell them Puma shoes. I don't know. What you think about that?
Oh, nigga, all I know is I'm gonna see a whole any con I go to, I'm gonna see a whole bunch of nigga with the Sonic Pumas. That's first and foremost. If they ever release that shit, they're gonna make a fucking killing with them
I
Congos.
was about to. I know Pumas. I like Pumas. Go like, yeah, you like printing money? Yo, make these Sonic shoes. I
Make these
tell
Sonic.
you, like just like Nike, just like Nike did with the Marty McFly's when they made the Marty McFly shoes. I said, I guarantee you will make a killing with these Sonic shoes. It's like,
Yeah, and not only that, you want to know what my number one hope for this movie is? I hope there's Crush 40 in that movie in one way or another. Because if that band is in that movie in one way or another, every fucking theater is gonna flip their shit, and that's what I want to see. I want like what's it called? I want like Marvel Infinity War Endgame type reaction when we hear that Crush 40, maybe like for one of the credits. That alone will make me
mm-hmm.
pay for the fucking credits.
Oh, they thought the Crush 40. I will never hear the end of this. You would never hit it.
I'll
That
mark out.
that would
I
probably
actually mark the fuck
that
out.
yeah. I'll mark the fuck out. I was like, oh, this deserves an Oscar now. And they put this in the Oscar. That's gonna be a God damn it, nominate this for the Oscar. Crush 40, we gonna ride for Crush 40. All right, any last thing before we change the subject?
um, yeah, they did a good job with the Sonic redesign. And take note to all the other motherfucking movie producers that want to produce like video game movies and anime movies. Make them look good.
I am the same way. I am the same way. So now to from Sonic to something else to me that's going to be making me happy. And I feel like it makes me happy, and I feel like it makes a lot of people happy. White people getting their ass whipped for saying the N words a lot. So I want to start with you. How do you? Because I've been seeing like videos of like white people, older white people. Let me be more specific. Older white people saying the N word to a bunch of young black kids, and then getting their ass whipped for it. Uh, and thank God we live in America because we get to see this type of shit on YouTube and Twitter and all that other stuff, and just put a smile on their face. What do you think about that?
Ray, you already know what I'm about to say. You reap what you sow, and the same energy is going to be kept. That woman, now, Ray, you saw the video of that woman standing in line saying the motherfucking word, and two
Yeah.
things happened, right? The first thing, of course, the guy got agitated. You know what I'm saying? He got angry. And then the second thing
Mm-hmm.
that happened that a lot of people like to overlook, there was another dude in there that was actually trying to get her to leave. Like he wasn't cussing her out or nothing. He was respectfully and passively trying to get her to leave. But what happened? She didn't leave. She kept going and kept going and kept going, kept trying to agitate the situation. And then when it got to the point where that nigga couldn't take it anymore, she went out to the parking lot because she sensed that she was about to get her ass whooped. She tried to run away, and then she got fucking body slammed. She got Bobby Lashley,
Mm.
got Goldberg, she got Brock Lesnar, she got fucking Big Show, she got A Train. I can name all the big ass niggas at this point, right? And
Yeah.
to that, and you know, there was a lot of people talking about, man, that wasn't necessary. That wasn't necessary. And I'm like, okay, I can agree with that. We can agree with that. I personally wouldn't body slam an older woman, but you reap what you sow. If she didn't go over there and say the N word, she would have not have gotten body slammed. That's first and foremost. Second of all, the main reason why she went into that restaurant talking the way she was talking is because of white privilege. Let me tell you something. That white privilege, it gave them that arrogance, bro. That shit is like it's like a whole bunch of fucking 2002 Chris Jericho's running around. Like I'm the best. I'm the motherfucking best. I'm the undisputed champion. Well, you got that type of mentality running around because they done pillaged a land that don't belong to them in the fucking first place. So they think they want all the smoke. But then when the smoke gets handed to them, then they want to cry and be victims and send them to a justice system that likes to coddle motherfuckers. And now, of course, people are going to say, "Oh man, this is kind of a setup because now he's going to go to jail, and you know what I'm saying? Now he's going to go for jail for no reason for battery and assault when he could have just walked away." All of that is true. All of that is true. However, she got reminded physically of why you shouldn't be saying that word to people. And I'm tired of this, oh, when they go low, we go high notion that they always like to point out. And I'm like, bro, how high do we have to go? Because every time we try to do something, or every time there's a brother or a sister out there that done elevated themselves, or just trying to do their motherfucking job, they gotta deal with that bullshit. They always gotta deal with that bullshit. And then when they lash out and react because these motherfuckers is literally, egging them on, then you want to say, oh, when they go low, we go high. We're supposed to be better than this, y'all. We supposed to be better. Better than who? Better than who? You trying to tell me? You trying to tell me be better than those white supremacists that don't call you a nigga? Uh-uh. They're not good in any single way. So why should we be better than them? What is the moral obligation of black people in this country? Why do we always got to be the moral people? Why do we always got to be the fucking model citizen? And then you put that out there, and then women like Tatiana Jefferson, who's done everything right, gets killed just for being in her house. But when they go low, we go high. Then her father dies. because of the heartbreak and because of the stress of her daughter that was killed because of white supremacy. So, like, the deeper context of this is real. Like, it's real deep when you think about it. Like, past, a white woman calling another man the N word and then her getting body slammed for it. You know what I'm saying? You reap, and again, I'm gonna say, you reap what you sow. You get the same energy that you put out. The universe know what it's doing. If you wouldn't have went there and said nigga, you wouldn't have gotten body slammed. It is literally that simple. So let's stop demonizing the brother for what he did, and let's start demonizing the fucking colonizer that thought she was bold enough to go to a fucking Popeyes full of black people and saying that shit. She wanted a reaction. She knew what the fuck she was doing. She just wasn't prepared for the smoke that came with it.
I absolutely agree with you and everything you said. And I didn't say it on this. I was hoping I said this on probably one of the previous podcasts, but we have done a lot since then. I can't even tell you which one did I said it, but I know I said it on Instagram. And I said this. I said there's going to be a time where something really, really major happens that is going to piss black people off so much that they are not going to give a fuck about us being outmanned, outgunned, out everything. We're just going to react and we're just going to go fuck shit up that's not ours. It's like white people shit. And like, oh, white people are just going to get the blunt of it. Now, the Popeye's chicken sandwich, I'm not counting that as a major thing, but you can tell in this generation, a lot of kids you really don't like getting called nigga or getting the N-word by people that are not black or that are not of our skin color. I don't care how logical you're going to and let me say this because I didn't say this a lot because I'm more moderate than really based my opinion in these past few podcasts, but I don't care how logical. Black people do not care how logical you make them sound the N word. Oh, why can't I say it? No, and I don't. Black people do not care how logical you try to make it sound. They don't want you to say it. They're not going to make you say it. And now you're seeing the. And here's the thing: we've been warning white people like they're going to fuck you up. And I'm not saying this as a threat to white people, but we've been saying this. They're going to fuck you up one day if you're going to keep trying them. And this is what has been happening. You got the one kid that gave this dude called Sweet Chin Music, and he fucking that shit. That shit shattered like the Stone Cold theme song. That shit. I said, "Woo!" There was a lot of anger in that damn super kick. you got you got the one old white man that went into Popeyes calling people in there, and he thought he was gonna walk out scot free too.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, congratulate them black people for taking that shit outside and not doing it in the Popeyes. That was classy, boo. I don't care what anybody say. Like that white man called them a bunch of niggas and thought he was gonna walk around and say it. As soon as they got out, they beat his ass. They beat his ass. And the third one, which is what we're talking about, the old lady that was just calling the employee a nigga, and he basically Mark Henry Von Strong slammed the fuck out of her.
Yeah.
and she broke, and then she broke 55 of them ribs and all the other shit. And my reaction to it, should have called him a nigga. Now, I was hoping Xavier was here because he's been saying which is at a point it is true. Like you're not a lot of these people they don't see the consequences of their actions and all that other shit. But at the same time, black people have been arrested for peacefully protesting and marching, like in the Civil Rights, excuse me, the Civil Rights era. Like people when they marched in Selma, they got fire hoses thrown on them and all that other stuff, and they're just walking peacefully protesting. So, and they got arrested too. So, what's to say about something? It's just finally to me. I feel like this is just a start of something. I feel like as black people, especially this generation, when we say we're not our parents. Now, when we say that, we're not disparaging or downing our grandparents because they did what they had to do in that era. But in this era, we're trying to tell you we're not our grandparents. Like we'll fuck you up. And now you're seeing a lot of that. And a bunch of boomers, and maybe them old boomers, they don't understand because they don't use internet. They're just calling young niggas they just calling young niggas in their face, while the young racists just do it over the internet.
Yep.
I feel like the young racists, the little racists, they just like bunch of amateurs. You're supposed to do that online where they can't find you. And I feel like the old boomers is like, you young whippersnappers a bunch of pussy. Back in my days, we called them niggas in their face and got away with, and they ain't do nothing. And both of them just realized it ain't that time no more. I said, when we find you, we're dealing with you.
And to add on to what you said about the whole civil rights thing, you brought up a really good point. What at this point, what the fuck do we got to lose? Nigga, we get the cops called on us for barbecuing, selling lemonade, sleeping in campus, trying to get into a fucking apartment complex. Like, we get the cops called on us for watching other white people's kids that we was hired to do. So what the fuck else do we got?
Right.
Okay, he gonna go to jungle body slamming a white woman. There is no bigger prosecution in America to a black man than white woman's tears. That is the number one thing that will get your ass in jail, whether she's lying or not. So, yeah. Okay, he's gonna go to jail or whatever, but she has been physically changed by that forever. She has been physically changed. She's gonna remember that motherfucking pain, and she's gonna heal from it. But it's like I said, she try healing 400 years of motherfucking oppression. You lucky you just got off with a few broken ribs and bones and shit. Try 400 years of motherfucking oppression.
You're absolutely right. Any last words on this before we move on to the next subject?
If you're not black, don't say nigga. We're not saying it to be mean. We're not saying it to be the anti-fun police. We're saying it because that word has blood on it and it means something to us. So we took it the fuck back, and now we're going to fucking gatekeep the fuck out of it. We didn't gatekeep a lot of other shit, but this one we're gatekeeping and we're doing very well at it. So keep that word out of your mouth. You will not call no gay person the F word because they beat the shit out you. And they would be justified for beating the shit out you. And isn't it funny, Ray, how people who call gay people the F word, when they get fucked up, and I don't know why they do that in the first place, because gay people have registered hands. They're required to have hands. Like, that's not even something that, they just, avoid. Like, they are required to have hands because they are gay. So
especially in DC.
especially
And not to cut you off, but just for the people that don't know, like, we live in this DMV area. There are gay gangs in here that know how to fight. So if you want to try our gays, they will really fuck you up too. So don't play with them either. Like, a lot of people will tell you in this area, these gay people, they know how to fight and they know how to throw hands. All right, go ahead, finish your point, Wallace.
And to add on to that point, there's them, the old school gays. Them old school gays are really the ones you don't want to fuck with. They'll beat your motherfucking ass. I have seen this personally. Them
Yes.
80s and 90s gay people will fuck you up. So don't try it. And they would be justified and people would be cheering them. But when we beat a motherfucker ass because he said, nigga, oh man, why are you doing that shit? When they go low, we go high. That ain't even necessary, bruh. That ain't even that. Shut up. Shut up. We like they shouldn't have said it in the first place. So then when we're bringing our own form of justice on it for them violating one of our laws, then you have a problem with it. Don't say the word.
On to our next topic. Disney Plus just dropped, and now it got like everybody's basically on Disney Plus now. I even got it like yesterday, and I kind of looked at the catalog. The first thing I noticed is that Sister Act 2 was on there, and Sister Act 2 is one of my favorite movies growing up. and they got the Simpsons movie, and then like you got some of the old Disney shows like Darkwing Duck and Gargoyles, and people are binge watching that. Now they're trying to want remakes of that, which which is always funny because like Gargoyles was one of those shows that was really good, but it really didn't get the press it did because X-Men and Spider-Man was out at the same time. But Gargoyles was a good show too. So how do you feel about this whole Disney Plus craze? And how long do you think it'll last?
I think it's gonna last a while because they're gonna take this momentum and then they're just gonna keep producing shit, whole show after show after show after show. It even got to the point where other networks was trying to get in their bid on the whole streaming shit too. Because Nickelodeon did a deal with Netflix and Cartoon Network did a deal with HBO Max or whatever it's called. So with those deals, bruh, Ray, it is great to be an 80s and 90s baby again. We get to, relive our entire childhoods in one click of a motherfucking button. You
I
know,
just want my Angry Beavers.
I'm gonna
I
get,
love Angry Beavers. I want my Angry Beavers.
bruh. All I know is, bro, like the 80s and 90s, and by 80s and 90s, I mean like the mid to late 80s and the mid to late 90s. Like that has got to be some of the greatest content ever made, ever. Like ever. That's why niggas was so addicted to TV back then because nigga, every channel had really good shit. Like TV was just lit. So the fact that we get like niggas is bringing back all these shows and shit is great. And but there is one network that a lot of people don't mention that I would like to bring up because they've been very instrumental too with their really good ass shows, and that's MTV. Because you're not telling me Beavis and Butthead wasn't lit. You're not telling me Celebrity Deathmatch was one of the greatest shows on TV. Um, let's see. Like MTV had so many fucking good shows back then. Like I don't know why they don't really get included in the conversation like that. Because I feel like they have really fucking good shows.
Aeon Flux was good. Aeon Flux
Yeah.
was really good. And honestly, and people are looking at me like I'm serious when I say this. They had a Spider-Man series that only lasted for one season. By far, my favorite Spider-Man cartoon of all time. And it was based off of the movie, but the animation it was based off the same people that did Reboot. And when I tell people this is my favorite Spider-Man edition of all time, like Neil Patrick Harris of Spider-Man, that is my favorite one. And people, you could barely find it on TV anymore. But if I recommend if anybody can spot like the Spider-Man MTV one, like that is my favorite one of all time. That one's really good.
Yeah, but I'm glad Disney did this because they got a really 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 large fucking catalog as opposed to another one that we're not gonna mention, BET. But I just like this, you know what I'm saying? And it's $6.99. It's cheaper than Netflix. I think it's also cheaper than Hulu. And yeah, I just when I
They
get
it's way cheap. It's way cheaper than Hulu. Plus, they added Hulu on there.
so yeah, so that's even better. So yeah, get Disney Plus, man. They really want your money, and they're really proving it right now. Because I done seen like 5 or 6 shows trending on Twitter. You know, niggas like I'm watching Lizzie McGuire again, bro. I'm watching Xenon again. Yo, bro, I'm watching fucking Proud Family. Like niggas is having a really good time revisiting their old shows, and now this gives people even more of a chance to become a culture when it comes to like the greatest era of TV ever. So I'm down for this.
Man, well, one thing you pointed out spot on is that cartoons that came out the 80s and the 90s probably some of the best content shows that we have ever had because I'm not gonna lie, but I wasn't a big fan of Adventure Time. People was telling me it was okay. Wasn't a big fan of regular show. Even though I did laugh at some regular show episodes, some of them are really good. Amazing World of Pinball, like it's hit or miss, but it's mostly hit. But none of them compares to the shows like the '90s, like growing up, especially like the big three, which I like to call them the big three: your Cartoon Networks, your Nickelodeon, and your excuse me, your Cartoon Network, your big Nickelodeon, and your Disney. And you're right. Um, Going to revisit this, just like hold on a second, hold on.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. But yeah, y'all get that 6.99, bro. That's 6.99. That shit is like the Popeyes chicken of fucking streaming services. Everybody want one. Except this time niggas ain't fighting each other for it and shit. Whole relationship's about to get started. We about to have Disney and chill now. There ain't no Netflix and chill.
My bad. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What was I saying? It shows that the content that's from the '90s, they're like really great shows, especially coming from the big three. Like when they had to compete for television, they like a bunch of our favorite shows and nostalgia come from the '90s, and this decade, I would like to say this decade has really been pushing that nostalgia era from bringing out back our old shows or rebooting old movies or excuse me stuff like that. So you me like I haven't really fully delved into Disney Plus yet, but I've seen The Jungle Book. I've seen like Sister Act 1 and 2, and I'm about to like binge watch some of the shows on there too. And I finally get to watch the last Avengers movie because I still have not seen it yet. Excuse me. And I think Star Wars is on there because Disney owns Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
Maybe finally I get to binge watch Disney Star Wars, all the Star Wars movies, so I can catch up with people. So, and it's $6.99. It's like Frank Lucas when he sold good quality cocaine for like half the price. It's just really, really good. It's really, really good that this coming out, and the fact that Netflix is doing the same thing with Nickelodeon and HBO Max is doing the same thing with Cartoon Network. Is great. I'll probably never get the Cartoon Network though because HBO we don't get HBO Max. But but if I would, I'd probably definitely binge watch Ed, and Nettie because that is probably some of the greatest. That is also like Cartoon Network's greatest show. It's definitely top five. It's top five Cartoon Network's greatest show ever. So. Uh, So any last words on this before we switch the subject?
This Disney Plus shit is like the Popeyes of streaming. It's like the Popeye sandwich of streaming, except niggas ain't killing and fighting themselves over it. So that's nice to know.
Okay. All right. And on to our next topic. This happened today, but I still haven't really looked up fully on it. Now, but you actually told me about it, right? There was actually a school shooting that happened. Can you tell me what happened?
Yeah. So I don't know the full details, but an Asian kid went to the school that he was attending, 16 years old, and started busting with a handgun. I think they said it was like a Colt. I don't know the exact gun what it was. I know it was a handgun, and I think he shot like 5 6 people, and 3 of them died. So they all didn't die on the spot. They all got rushed to the hospital. But as we know right now, 3 people died, and I think the shooter is still to this day, to as of right now, is in critical condition. Unless I check my phone and get the update. But yeah, man, and this happened out of California. It was Santa something. This happened out of Cali, and what's ironic is this particular school had a walkout for the Parkland shooters. For the Parkland shooting, when they had the little protest where kids walked out of their schools nationwide, they was part of that. So I think
Yeah.
it's ironic how it comes full circle, and now they're the ones they schools getting shot. And it's real sad, man. I think one of the victims was like a 15-year-old girl. So
Yo, hearing this, it really makes me sad because we've been. I didn't notice this at first, but there's been a lot of school shootings happening. Like when I was growing up, there was bomb threats, but there was not a lot of school shootings, and I lived in the worst of hoods. And even in DC, like some of their schools, you don't really hear a lot about school shootings, but you hear like ever since I became an adult, it's like you at the was it Sandy Park? It was Sandy
Yeah,
Park, right?
Sandy Hook.
It was Sandy Hook. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Sandy Hook. You got a couple other school shootings that's been happening. The Virginia Tech ones, but that was like early 2000s, really. But that's when honestly, but that's when I started noticing that. And you see in all of this stuff, it's just like, where's this coming from? And then like you wanna I don't usually try to sympathize with the shooter, but you do want to know what caused them to get to that point. And I've always been one of those people. Is like I don't have empathy for him, but I do want to know what caused him to get to that point because he had to be pushed to that level. And was shot? Was he shot or
Um, Not that I know of. There's not really much information on him.
if he survives? I do want to know because I feel like a lot of people don't care because they get him, but me, I do. I feel like okay, I understand with this, and it's this. I'm not gonna lie. When I'm honest with this, it took me a long time, and maybe because I am older and I'm more sure of myself than most people. Like I never really took depression that serious. I'll be honest, because a lot of people talk about I've always taken depression serious. I've never taken depression that serious as and me, and I'm now when I've been around when I went to this art school and I've gone to talk to more people that actually has medically clinical depression and like you sometimes you just it just happens. Like it could be a regular day, they're all smiling, and then next thing you know, in a snap of a finger, they're just depressed and you just don't know why. Now me, like I never like uh shunned it off, but I've always tried to figure out how to like what can I do to fix it? And sometimes I had to realize there's nothing I can do because sometimes it's just on the person itself, and like I had to deal with that because I'm used to like trying to solve the problem then and there, so it can never happen again. But some like for some people and shows like Empire with Andre and his shit it just happens. Sometimes it just happens out of the blue and there's just nothing you can do about it but try to be there. What do you think?
Yeah, man, you're right. I think that a lot of it just has to do with how you deal with it, and there's no guidebook to this. A lot of us are just winging it when it comes to this mental health shit because people are still doing the research, and you know what I'm saying. There's still a lot of stigma behind it, but the one thing I know for sure, and this is coming from someone who's talked people out of suicide. I think the number one thing that people just really need to understand about mental health is just that it's not a death sentence. You know what I'm saying? It's not something that it's not something that can hold you back from living a fruitful life. It's basically more of a it's like a shock to the system. It's just like a little shock to the system where your brain just doesn't have the shit that it needs to be a brain. So it kind of like these attacks happen, and then a lot of people, a lot of people when they experience that, they don't really know how to combat that. It's like, oh shit, this is going on in my own head. Like, what the fuck? It's that shock. But at the same time, this I feel like there has been progress that's been made. We are having the proper conversations, but I don't know. I'm like I feel like half of it is okay. We know what this is. We have the correct definitions for it. How do we move forward from here? And then the other side, I'm kind of like you in the regards that, man, like if you really don't want this to be an issue, you have the tools to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you know you're depressed or if you know you have anxiety, there are like tools out there that can help with that. So even if it's bad, the fact that you're taking initiative means that you're strong already. So just take that initiative. You know what I'm saying? What else do you have to lose in regards to that? You know what I mean? And I just personally feel like when people start doing that and not letting they shit hold them back, they could be whatever they want to be. And I'm not saying that, oh, it's on them or it's their fault or nothing. It's nothing like that. It's just when you have a clear vision of something, yeah, anxiety is gonna get in the way. Yeah, depression is gonna get in the way. Of course. But every heartbeat is a rebellion to your enemies, and you'll be able to overcome everything if you just take the initiative to move forward every time it knocks you down and you get back up. But in regards to this school shooting, I don't really want to place the stigma on mental health, because that sets a precedent to where if someone is mentally ill, oh, they're gonna shoot up a school, oh, they're gonna shoot up a mall, and I'm like, no, that's not what it is. This happened because I've been saying for the fucking longest, the culture of guns in America is what's killing its people in the fucking first place. Y'all glorify these guns, y'all call these guns sacred, and y'all portray the gun as a perfect means to an end or the ultimate means to an end. And it has gotten to the point where people actually believe that they buy the guns or they get access to the gun in one way or another, legally or illegally. It doesn't matter. They have access to the guns, and then they do shit like this because they got a problem, they're in pain, and they want to solve it. And what better way to solve your problems in America than holding a fucking gun in your hand? And that's the issue. So when people talk about mental health, I know that's like, bruh, we already talked about that shit already. You know what I'm saying? We already talked about that. When people start talking about dumb shit like, oh man, these video games, oh man, your rap music is what's calling it. That's how
Oh
you know
my God, Wallace, don't even get into that, man. Come on, don't even start with that, man.
I'm
Real
saying
nigga
Like,
brand. What's good?
that shit is
sorry,
so
listen,
dumb.
Wallace is going through it. It's so annoying because the thing is, it's such a downward spiral when people do that stuff, man. Like video games is someone's heavy rock music, who was someone's comic books, which was someone's like anything. The more you blame inanimate objects on what real people do, the more it goes to a spiral that you can't do anything. Like, it's like, because by that logic, I could literally anything that can take any sort of inspiration could be the sole reason for something horrible to happen. Someone could say, and I mean, of course, it's an extreme, but hear me out. Someone could say, oh, I get this inspiration from reading a verse from the Bible, and that made me shoot a bunch of people. But obviously, no one's going to say something like that. But no, we all want to blame inanimate objects for what real people do. And I've been tired of hearing that. Yeah. But no, but you bring up a really good point. It's a lot of people want to default to mental illness, but there's multiple reasons why someone could be shooting up. None of them are good reasons, but we can't have the stigma that everyone has to be a mental illness either. We should acknowledge something. We should try to help. What at least we shouldn't do, which we already started, is kind of get so used to it. We kind of expect it to be Tuesday now, and it really is sad. Like we shouldn't be so okay with this. I mean, not saying we are okay with it, but we're like, we don't flinch anymore. Like, there was a time where school shootings was just like, oh no, this is huge. We can't just allow it to happen. And that was happened so often. And it's just sad. It's very sad. I didn't want to just come out of nowhere, but yeah, here I am. Had to download this app.
Man, I don't care if you come in like Thor from Endgame. You are welcome any motherfucking time you want to. God damn it.
Yeah, same here. Since I got you here, and we talked about this earlier, and I did want to talk about you when you was here. We was talking about the Sonic the Hedgehog trailer.
Yeah, yo, it
Tell the
was.
people what your thoughts on it.
Well, I was doing Kel's birthday dinner, so that's why I was kind of a little occupied.
Happy birthday, Ken.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
but
happy birthday,
okay,
Kelly.
yeah, I'll let you guys know. But all right, so objectively, my initial reaction to the whole thing, because I mentioned you before, like when it came to the actual people making the movie, not the executives, like like funding the movie, but the people actually making the movie actually care about this film. The director is someone who actually worked on the Sonic games with the actual cutscenes and stuff. The problem with that original trailer is that it was not presenting. It was a bad trailer for a potentially good or decent film that didn't know how to properly show what this movie is really about. Added on with a design that wasn't marketable enough. That's really the downside. Here comes the second trailer, which brought out the 180 of the decade for people. And as someone who's like kind of spoiled himself with the test screenings, this trailer shows exactly what people have been talking about. Of like, no, this actually is going to be good. And okay, yes, I like his new design. I do. I'm glad that they still kept some level of realism where it need be, but gave into the appeal where you could recognize that Sonic. Um, if you actually know the Sonic franchise, they sprinkled a lot of Easter eggs in there for people who say, if you don't think they don't know about the source material, there's a bull-faced lie. But overall, this looks like it's going to be fun, and energetic, which you should feel like when you're watching something involving Sonic. Even Sonic feel like you're getting a little bit of goofy, giving like friends some high speed action. They have that. Jim Carrey looks really enjoying his time as Robotnik. The effects, which should be almost done at this point, look really solid. And everyone's blowing up about it. Everyone loves this thing. And I very much am looking forward to it, honestly. It's why I said to you, Ray, even if this movie isn't great, it's probably going to be way more enjoyable than the next video game movie coming up next year. Lord knows that one's going to be trash. But we don't want to talk about Monster Hunter right now. But I think Sonic, just like his own history with his games, has pulled something unthinkable, gave something to the fans. Well, I think it took criticism. We're able to take that criticism and actually retroactively do something about it without destroying the movie. At least that's what I think. I don't know if you guys would also agree. Like, I know it's been kind of a mixed bag on fans shouldn't control official products. They have too much power. And I do agree. But I think there's a difference between accepting feedback and taking upon it and literally doing whatever the fans tell you what to do. I think there's a difference.
I agree. And the only thing I want to add on is there's a difference between listening to feedback and pandering to idiots. And I feel like a lot of companies pander to idiots more than they listen to actual feedback.
Right. No, I 100% agree.
And like I said, like I told Wallace before, when people go to see this, they're not expecting an Oscar-worthy performance. They just want a real good, decent Sonic movie they can like go to. So I'm not expecting, like I said, I'm not expecting Tom Hanks in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but at least can you give me something where I can go, oh yeah, that's Sonic, and I could like relive my nostalgia.
Yeah, I mean, even I expect an enjoyable, good film, but no one's expecting like Avengers Endgame level of deep storytelling. That's not what Sonic's about. Like, anyone who's disappointed that it's not going to be something like that, I don't know what you're expecting. Sonic was never really about that. You can hope that it gets a little more daring with the storytelling and sequels if it gets some, but it's always been simple, all ages fun with some edginess and some really cool like speed. Now, like at this point, if you don't like Sonic's design, it's either because you're in that weird, dumb argument about the blue arms, which isn't really a problem, or you're just upset because it's not an animated film, which I can't help you because I mean, I do have an opinion that the reason why I'm okay with this being a live action film is because of two important reasons. One, because Sonic's been in realistic environments before with a bunch of humans. That's not new. So people complain that like Sonic done that. Had they not played Adventure 1, Adventure 2, Sonic 06, even though it's not a great game, Shadow the Hedgehog, Watch Sonic X. A lot of this isn't new for the franchise. And my second important reason, both Paramount and Sega probably both agreed they want movie Sonic to stand out the most from any other version of Sonic. Sonic has been in animated format for literally ever since he was created. If they were to make a CGI Sonic movie, not only would that be super safe since we've already seen a CGI Hollywood Sonic through Wreck-It Ralph 1 and 2, it wouldn't really break the mold to get in new people, which they want. These movies, based on popular franchises, want new fans to get introduced to it while also keeping the old fans. So taking a risk like this, which Sonic's known for taking risks, making a live action movie while still being faithful to the source material, would make you striking. It would make you stand out. And if it works out, it's the one thing that Mario could do. Like, Mario's going to have a new animated film with Illumination, but they'll never be able to pull it off in live action. If Sonic can be pulled off in live action, which the spectacle of Sonic just looks like it's properly well done, then they already succeeded there. Heck, even the product placement. The product placement is done subtle. Like, I mean, I never had a problem with him wearing Pumas, but the biggest problem, like everyone else, I believe, was it wasn't Sonic's shoes. But now you made Sonic's shoes be believable while still giving a slight nod that this is Puma. That's brilliant. It's the same way how those soap shoes were in SA2, where like it's not too distracting, but you can tell it's not just his normal cartoony shoe. Everyone.
How much money do you think? Let me ask you this, because I asked Wallace this. How much money do you think they will make if Puma starts selling those shoes?
Listen, I already was looking at tweets of letting them already. They already told people, hey, it's not gonna be his exact shoe. That you shouldn't have said that, because you know how many people from like the 90s to now who always wanted to wear Sonic shoes as a believable, stylish shoe, not just Sonic symbols on it. Like you see Green Hill Zone, like that weird shoe that came out like a year ago. They want Sonic's shoe. A ton of people would buy it, especially if you made a limited time. If you made a limited time offer, do you know how crazy people would get with Sonic's shoes? Exactly how it is in the movie.
You remember the Marty McFlys when they came out?
Yeah.
Yo, and them joints make a killer. And I'm just saying, Puma, if you like money, you will put these shoes out. You will put these shoes out, you will commercialize them, and you will sit in dough. Because niggas will literally throw you money for this.
Yeah. I mean, you already have a good looking Sonic that clearly is skewed with personality and even gets a hint of what his arc is going to be. You show that he looks really good when he's spin dashing and when he's running. You have a all-star cast actor playing him and Robotnik, which everyone loves Jim Carrey. And they already proven that this isn't going to be another Chipmunk or even Transformers where the main character is going to be the human. They just clearly focus on Sonic. They better show that shoe. People want those shoes. Come on now. And to be perfectly honest, maybe I'm jumping the gun here, because obviously I care a little bit more about Sonic than like Pokemon in some regard. Because of the 180 they made, and because a lot of people are passionate about Sonic, I wouldn't be surprised if they financially get the same amount of box office gross as Detective Pikachu, or maybe even more. I don't know. Maybe that's just me jumping the gun, but I just.
Oh yeah, because a lot of people went to go see Detective Pikachu.
But what I noticed, Ray, like a lot of people want to go see Detective Pikachu, but like Pokemon. This is a fact. It's like the highest grossing franchise in the world right now. Period. That movie did very well, but it didn't do as well as I thought it was going to do. Like it's Pokemon. I thought it was going to be $500 million. It didn't actually make that. It doesn't mean it's not a success. It's very much a big success. But like, Sonic has a weird way of getting into people's hearts. I don't associate myself with that fandom, but like, I just wouldn't be surprised. Really don't. But if you like Sonic, but you're a sensible person, you shouldn't associate with the fandom. But
that's true.
Nah, yeah. But this just because of how much Sonic kind of touches people and like the way it was kind of birthed into the world, I just really wouldn't be surprised if it made a similar amount of money back, which would be even a bigger feat because they didn't have to spend the same amount of money. Because all they had to worry about was making Sonic look good, make the robots look good, and the environments look good. While Detective Pikachu had to make sure like hundreds of Pokemon look good on screen, even if you're not focusing on them. Yeah, it's
Especially Mr. Mime.
especially Mr. Mime, man. And I'm not gonna lie, as someone who I did enjoy that movie, I do think that some Pokemon look better than others. Most of the background Pokemon look fine, but there's some of them look too much like a plushie, like you just took a plushie from like Toy Story or something and made it come to life. And then others like, wow, you actually made it look like it's a creature that looks like the design. I know there's a lot of people have this conspiracy that this was planned from the get-go with Sonic. Like this design was already made and this was a marketing stunt. Due to my own research, I realized it's somewhere in the middle. Here's what I think. Just that one design looked like the Chris Pratt poster. That which is arguably the best looking design of going too far into realism. But then the executives wanted him to push it even further and look weird. But he told them this probably wasn't going to work. And Paramount, desperately wanting a franchise, they say, all right, if this doesn't work, we'll delay the movie. And it didn't work. So like, we'll let you do what you want. They hired Tyson Test, who has become one of the Lord and Saviors of the franchise now, and literally took his own fan art of what film Sonic was going to look like and turned it into the actual design. That is what happened. That's what happened, and it worked. People love it. He doesn't have a side mouth, which is a good thing. He doesn't have his eyes connected, which is a good thing. But they still kept his like stylish appeal. His fur looks good. He's modeled well. He's rendered well. He's the most exciting speedster I've seen in a movie from Hollywood, like more than I would say Quicksilver and Age of Ultron, and it looks like he's definitely beating Quicksilver in the X-Men films. We're not even gonna talk about the Flash in Justice League. We're not even gonna talk about the Flash in Justice League. Like, man, it there was other trailers that came out this week, but I think Sonic had more to prove, and they succeeded. Yeah, that's all we can say about that for now.
Yeah. Like I said, I kind of feel sorry about the Scooby-Doo trailer because that one kind of like went under the radar, but that Sonic trailer looked real good.
It looked real good, man. Like,
right.
This is exactly what I expected the movie to actually be.
Okay. On to our next.
Moving on.
Okay. What was you gonna say, Brad?
Oh, I was just saying, like, clearly the guy who cut the last trailer was fired. It's like he just did a poor job of like actually teaching what this movie's about. It was death. So now, what's the actual next topic?
Okay. This may or may not be the last topic of the day, but I was watching a video and it made me think. It's a real interesting topic, and since this decade is almost coming to a close, and we're a bunch of video gamers in here, I wanted to ask y'all, what is your most influential? What do y'all think is the most influential game of the last 10 years?
Oh, ooh, okay. That's I don't know if I can answer that right now. It's from 2010 to 2020, well, 2019, we've had some really solid games, and we've had games that broke the mold. I don't know. What do you think, Wallace?
As far as influential, damn.
Yeah, it's like I was originally gonna say what was the best game in this decade, but I feel like I don't know. That's also a hard question, but I feel like I would like up it a little bit. What do you think is the more influential game of all of this decade?
Shit. Okay. I'm gonna have two answers because the second answer that I have, it technically doesn't count as a decade, but this was late 2000s, so I still want to put it in there. But I'm gonna go with my first answer. All right. And for my first answer, I'm going to probably say, hold on, damn. I had an answer, but now I want to think about it some more because there has been some, because it's like there's been some games that have been made before, but kind of like redefine themselves. But then
Yeah,
there's other games that came out that are new IPs, and like you can tell, like they really spent a lot of time on this, but at the same time, I don't really think that it's doing like what its intended purpose, or people just felt out of the game. And with that in mind, I was going to say Destiny because I feel like Destiny revolutionized the way you played a shooting game along with RPG elements, and their formula was very successful. But their issue was the politics, if you get what I mean. So I think that is I think I would say that. And as far as my second answer, Street Fighter 4. Because Street Fighter 4 effectively revived the fighting game genre. And that cannot be debated. And I think a lot of people really underestimate how huge Street Fighter 4 was in bringing back fighting games. And it was because of Street Fighter 4 that we had a whole plethora of fighting games come back. You could even say because of that, Mortal Kombat started getting their ball rolling. Dead or Alive started getting their ball rolling. Tekken started getting their ball rolling. Like a lot of fighting games just started coming back because Street Fighter 4.
yeah, no, you're right. I remember, honestly, I give into that hype. Like I would never say I'm like as good in fighting games. I'd never get a chance to get a time to. But when Street Fighter 4 came out, I picked that up. I had a blast. A lot of people had a blast. It got me wanting to play more fighting games. And again, if Street Fighter 4 didn't happen, maybe Midway, which later became NetherRealm, would have never decided to do MK9 the way that they did. And well, that definitely made a ripple effect into the fighting game genre. Like you're completely right on Street Fighter 4. What I feel about this decade, two things I've noticed. One, they became extremely cinematic when it comes to how they want to tell their storytelling. And another thing is that there's been a lot of experimental games of what counts as a video game. And sometimes, at least the meta commentary, sometimes that's just like, let's be honest, like a slightly playable movie. But a game is a game. There's a lot of artistic liberties that was made over the years. Naughty Dog went full throttle after dropping their platforming roots and went full swing after Uncharted. They did The Last of Us, and look how that happened. But then you had, Heavy Rain, and then you got like freaking Doki Doki Literature Club and Undertale, and like these games that are like redefining genres, but also quite like challenging them. It's a crazy year. And then somewhere in the middle, you get those revivals or remakes or long awaited sequels like KH3. But I don't know. I think Street Fighter 4 is definitely up there for one of the most important games in the decade. Um, God, I don't know though, man. It's like for RPGs, right? I feel like this was it. 13 was a game that was very polarizing for people, like any Final Fantasy game. But then eventually, we did get 15 from it, from the feedback. A revival of 3D platformers happened, and Odyssey kind of brought the limelight for that. I don't know. I don't know. It almost feels like half of the 2010s is a whole different world than like the second half.
You
You get
can
my
have
drift?
more than one answer, just so you know. I'm not just delegating you to one answer. You can have more than one.
Yeah, but it's like
Because obviously a lot of games influence shit. Go ahead.
the landscape just changed. Wouldn't you say, Mo? It's like a lot of things changed in the past 10 years. Like,
I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it a step further. I feel like right now we're getting to a point where, like you said before, a lot of these games just aren't. They don't. They're just not games. You feeling what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
if you go back to like the PS1 days and like the Nintendo 64s and the Dreamcast days, like those were video games. You feeling what I'm saying? You pick up a
mm-hmm.
controller, you play, a bunch of wild shit happens, and it's amazing. You can't explain it, but you're in the middle of making all that crazy shit happen. And this is like the most amazing time like ever. I know y'all remember the first time y'all ever played like Sonic Adventure 2 or played like Tekken 3. Like when you play those games and cool shit happens, you're like, what the fuck did I just do? I don't know what the fuck I did, but that was fucking cool, and I'm gonna keep playing it some more. You know what I mean? Like that shit. And I feel like that's what really got me into gaming in the first place. And I'll always attribute games like Tekken 3 for the PlayStation 1 to that, because these were like this was a game that had all these different characters that had all these different looks and different styles, and not only that, all of their moves were fucking cool. Like there was something unique about every single one of these characters, and just it blew my mind. So like when I'm playing more video, and as I'm playing more video games, and then like more wild shit keeps happening in like a lot of these video games I'm playing, that's what I like to see. Now, I'm not saying that wild shit doesn't happen in these other games, but what you can see, the difference between these games and the games of yesterday was that these games today are like, I don't know, they just feel like their only intent is to make the company a whole bunch of money. So there's no like
Yeah,
real inspiration behind it. It's just, oh, we're just gonna add these skins, and we're just gonna add those skins, and then we're gonna add a few dance moves here. We're gonna take everything that's trending, put it into a digitized form where you can play it with your fucking controller, and then make a whole bunch of money out of it because kids can't help it, and parents want to please they kids. You know what I'm saying? And there was no real.
2K. 2K.
Yeah, exactly. You got it
and
right. Because, Ray, I know you remember NBA 2K5 for the PS2. You
oh
could
my
make
god,
your
Yeah.
own fucking sneakers in that game. I don't know if they bought it back for the other games, but I know for that game, it was revolutionary at the time. Because making your own, like, you could make your own fucking sneakers, making your own characters, you know what I'm saying? Like, and it didn't feel like super strict, like, game. You know what I'm saying? You can do your dunks. You know what I'm saying? You could do like a whole bunch of crazy shit in 2K5. But I'm watching like 2K19 and 2K20. Like, bro, there's product placement all over the fucking place. They're releasing the games yearly, so there's more incentive. So like, they actually force you to buy those games, and it just feel like money grabs. And there's no like, I don't feel the soul of it anymore.
yeah, and there's obviously some companies that have still their passion, but like EA obviously is one of the major heavy hitters of people that really are so corporate and like just want to sap as much money as possible. I almost feel like too in some games, and this is if you can have this if you want. I do have an issue because I realize with the growing internet as well as like gamers, let's players, and all that. There's a lot of people who don't even really play games anymore, but they watch games because of how cinematic they are. That you're literally watching it. Like, and there's no offense to anyone who we know who watches more games than actually plays them, but there are some games I think I've seen and played where I feel like almost too cinematic. That like there's not enough actual game in it. If that makes any sense.
No, that
Um,
totally makes a lot of
You're
sense.
right, because
And I'm like,
Well,
doing it.
one of my favorite games I play is Walking Dead. It's more cinematic than it is gameplay. So
But the
yeah,
thing is, the
yeah, you're
Telltale
right.
games are visual. They're like point and click adventure games in a way. Like that's kind of like an evolution of that concept. So that's okay. Like I
Yeah,
kind of feel like that gets a freebie.
yeah.
But then you have like, and I hate that I'm picking on this. You have something like freaking Life is Strange or something, right? And sometimes
Yeah,
I feel like you have these long cutscenes. You have later on you have these interesting, engrossing characters, but where's the gameplay though, right? Like if I wanted to watch something, I would watch it. I want to play it. I want to. There's a for me. That's just my personal bias. I want a fine line between if you're gonna have a compelling story, you can give me a compelling story, but don't let me just be watching 50, 60, 75% of the time, and then the rest of it's gameplay. Unless I'm playing like a point and click Telltale game or something. I don't know. That's one thing that's been kind of a mixed bag. Is like on one hand, you have things like Last of Us, you have things like the Uncharted series, you have Metal Gear Solid, which Kojima's in his own world, guys. So like, we're not even gonna like even talk about what's good or bad about them. But I do think that everyone's trying to be the next big game. Like I think every company nowadays, with the mild exceptions, are trying so hard to be so big, where you don't have to worry about being a big game. Not everything is meant to be months on end long. Not everything is
Oh
meant to be,
my God.
yeah. Like I,
You just made a really fucking good point because some of these games are too big. I'm sorry. They're too fucking big. I don't care that I can wander for fucking 70 hours and still find new shit. Nigga, it's too big. I don't have time. We're adults. We got shit to handle. You know what I'm saying? You want to know what was great? You also want to know what was great about those times back then? Let's take a company like Namco. And I call
right.
Namco like from the late 90s to the early to mid 2000s, Namco was the absolute motherfucking king. That was their golden era, bar none. They had franchises like Ace Combat, Ridge Racer, the Tekken. They had games like Urban Reign, Katamari Damacy. I could go on and on and on about the fucking titles that have gone. They went on to make the fucking Dragon Ball Z games, your Budokais, your Tenkaichis, all that shit came from Namco. So that company by itself, with all of the look at their PS2 catalog alone. Them motherfuckers was doing nothing but just making game after game after game after game, and like a lot of them had a direction, and a lot of them was clear, and a lot of them were fun as hell. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really likes to talk about Urban Reign, but Urban Reign is one of the funnest PS2 games I've ever played in my life. There was games like Def Jam Fight for New York, with some of the most fun you'll ever have. You remember that fucking company, EA Big, was making all of their games are bangers. Pretty much all of the games they ever pretty much produced for the PS2 are fucking bangers. Your NBA Streets, FIFA Street, NFL Street, the Def Jam series. Like these people made really fucking good games. And I'm like, these games are full of imagination. These games let you do cool shit. You know what I'm saying? There is nothing more satisfying than juking no, not four people, juking like three people at once in NFL Street or FIFA Street. That shit makes you feel like a god. I can't really get that feeling in these video games anymore because, we want to make everything so simple and watered down so that everybody can play. Fuck that. If you suck, you suck. You know what I'm saying? There's going to be a skill barrier in everything that you play anyway. So why dumb it down for people who's not going to learn the shit anyway and punish us who's been putting in the proper time and effort trying to learn these games? Because if motherfuckers gonna learn a game, regardless of whether it's easy or hard, they're gonna learn the shit. You know what I'm saying? I could fucking pick up, and Ray told me this. I could play 2K for 10 minutes and beat half the people online. Like what? I don't want that.
yeah, yeah.
Like, bro, give me something that I feel like I'm investing my time in and I'm seeing the fruits of my investment. You know what I'm saying? Don't give me, and this is not a shot to Call of Duty, but like when I'm playing Call of Duty, it's not me. I don't even feel like I'm losing half the time because someone's better than me. I'm only losing because you pressed the button faster than me. Is that skill? because you pressed a button, you reacted faster than me, therefore you're better. No, I want to be better because I strategically, because I was superior in my strategy against yours. But and I'm not saying that those type of games shouldn't exist. They should. You know what I'm saying? If you react faster than me, cool. But that should not be the only reason why you're winning. So it's like when they're designing these games, a part of me, I'm always gonna play video games because I love video games. But just the way that this culture has shifted and the way companies are doing business now and the way that, it's just been this white boy fantasy for so long, I've kind of like taken a step back from the whole gaming community, and I'm just playing the games that I like. And before I end, I just want to shout out one game that I've been recently been playing a lot, which is Overwatch. And I want to shout that game out because I feel like that's probably one of the only games that I genuinely have fun with. Despite the fucking cesspool of inbreds that play that motherfucking game and can't think for shit, that's another conversation. I love the game because of like the characters and the shit that you can do and the way that you can play the game and how hectic the battles can get, which is so much fun and it's filling you with so much adrenaline when you got a fucking tank, you only got like 20 health left, you looking for a health pack, you trying not to fucking get killed. Like that shit is cool. That's what I like. So games like that I feel like that brings in the true essence of a video game, and and also games like Fortnite. I like games like Fortnite. That's cool. I just don't like the whole product. I just don't like how much of a product it feels like. That's what I have to say.
Let me ask you a question. When did Brawl come out?
I think 2007. I'm pretty sure it was 2007.
That was great. And even though it's not in the years I said it was, I would say this. This is just a honorable mention. Smash Brothers Brawl, because who would have thought when you saw Solid Snake, Sonic the Hedgehog fighting Mario, you like, are you fucking kidding me? So with that, I might have to say Smash 4, I guess. But if we're really honest, Brawl, because I remember the first time I saw that Smash Brothers trailer and I saw Solid Snake come out that box and he was like, Showtime. What's that? What's that?
Oh shit, looks like he's dealing with something, I think.
My bad.
No, you good.
My bad. Like I was saying, my honorable mention is Smash Bros. Because Solid Snake coming out of fighting Smash Brothers, you'd have never thought a Nintendo game would do that. So now you're seeing it from which you see Smash Ultimate. Now you got Pac-Man, you got Cloud Strife from Final Fantasy VII, you got Terry Bogard from Fatal Fury, you got Ryu and Ken from Street Fighter, and then it's just you like, damn. He's like, so I feel like that kind of set the bar because now you see in Tekken, you got Geese Howard in Tekken, and then you got Akuma from there. So that's one real influential game. I would say Smash. So another game I think is really influential is Borderlands, because Borderlands is like what people call the Godfather of looter shooters, and is really done right. And you can tell how much people love that game because it came out in 2012, and people played that religiously. Like you and I, like Wallace, you and I, we know we got a dude in one of our chats that if you talk about Borderlands, he's gonna talk your ear off.
Oh Lord.
He's gonna talk your ear off of Borderlands. I want to say Persona, but I just think people just like Persona, and it's just a real good pop. But I do want to say, but Final Fantasy, I feel like everybody's just on that Final Fantasy 7 game. Which, by the way, um, I agree with you. Games does not have to be that big, or you ain't got to traverse the world and all that other stuff. But I will say this: I am interested in Final Fantasy 7 the remake, and that's just me being a personal fan, and that's also based on nostalgia. And yeah, I 2K. I would say 2K because of DLC or anytime when, and this is not a good influential, this is a bad influential because now we got DLCs and people, what's it, pay to play and all this in-game currency that you got to buy with real money. Like for some reason, I feel like that also like fucked up the gaming industry because now, like, in case you want to play some games, you got to pay to play. I know League of Legends, because League of Legends is one very influential game. I think Mass Effect, because uh, it's space shooter slash RPG elements that you're seeing in a bunch of these games now, especially like Outer Worlds. It's kind of like Outer Worlds is kind of like Mass Effect, even though it was made by the people who made Fallout. But you can see the Mass Effect influence in there. I'll take your answer. Street Fighter 4. Street Fighter, and basically this is the second time Street Fighter does save the a genre because fighting games was dead before Street Fighter 4. And even though Street Fighter 4 is not my favorite Street Fighter game, I do give it credit when the credit's due. It did save a genre, and now like you're seeing a slew of more fighting games just come back, and they're better and they're more creative. And then these characters that you get old characters we like, and then new characters that is just really cool looking. And I would say Guilty Gear because it's one of the first anime fighters, or people call that anime fighters, and that sprout off in the genre itself. So I would say Guilty Gear is another one. And I don't know. It's a bunch of influential games, but those are the ones I'm thinking of off the top of my head. Any last words before we move on to our final thoughts?
Um, Video games are great, and yeah, and we shouldn't have ever, and it was a mistake making video games mainstream. That's all I'm gonna say.
DLC, I think DLC killed video games in my opinion, but that's that's just me. I've always said that it's it's good to add extra content, but DLC done fuck shit up. Okay, so now we on to our final thoughts, and I'm gonna go ahead and start with Brad. Brad, you got any final thoughts? Brad, you there?
No, I think he stepped out. I hear some in the background, but I think he stepped out.
Yeah, he probably did. So, all right, Father, you got any final thoughts?
Um, I guess my final thought is yeah, we should have never fucking made gaming mainstream. We should have gate we gamers should have gatekeep the gaming. And I say that because we got way too many undesirables running around. I don't care about that whole all inclusion. Oh, everybody can play because we all are. Nah, fuck y'all. Some of y'all need to go. Some of y'all racist. Some of y'all toxic. Some of y'all fucking fuck y'all. God damn. Y'all make something as simple as playing a video game fucking stressful. There should be no reason why you think you're hot shit at a game like Call of Duty where all you gotta do is point and click. I should not be hearing niggas talking about, man, I'm so good at 2K. Man, I'm so good at Madden. Nigga, you're playing a game where if you're trying to pass the ball, the button is literally right there telling you to pass it there. Shut the fuck up. I'm just, oh, Lord. There's too, we're too saturated, bro. Twitch is great and all that shit is great, but we should have just let gamers be gamers. And the undesirables who you wanted to play video games, nigga, you had to go through a whole bunch of shit before you could ever call yourself a gamer. Just because you stream Twitch on your PS4 with your fucking dirty ass fingernails don't make you no motherfucking gamer. And I don't care if I sound elitist as fuck. I am elitist as fuck when it comes to something I love. Fuck y'all niggas. And that's all I got to say. Making video games mainstream was a fucking mistake. Y'all done fucked it up.
um, shoot. The Rock. The Rock is Black Adam. I kind of see it. I hope he does a good job. I hope he doesn't The Rock it. If that's makes sense to you,
I know exactly
I
what you
hope I get
mean. I know exactly what you mean because he did that shit in the Scorpion King.
Yeah, he did. He did it in the Scorpion. He kind of rocked it. But I am glad. I feel like he should have been a superhero because he's a big, buff, swole ass nigga. So he had to do at least one super. And Black Adam fits him. It does
Yeah.
kind of fit him. So I'm glad he got that at least. But also, my man Carmelo Anthony got signed to the Portland Trailblazers. And as a Melo fan, I am happy to see that he's back in the fucking NBA. Maybe now Colin Kaepernick can get back into the NFL. So but I don't know if I've seen that coming because you know how them white people are with their shit. So and also, if anybody is wondering about my reviews on Oskina Reviews, I done dropped the Gucci Man. I dropped Kanye Jesus is King. So I hope y'all get to watch that soon. And I will try to do a top 10 list of albums of 2019. And I'm also try to do a top 10 albums of this decade. Top 10. And that's going to be harder because there's a lot of good albums that came out this decade. And I got to like really look it through them all before I get to that. And Brad just hit me up. He just said he got disconnected. I'll, um, so with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead in this podcast. I would like to thank everybody that came on, especially Harlem Heat. Oh yeah, and by the way, AEW Full Gear was great. Before us, AEW Full Gear was great. Kenny Omega versus John Moxley was really good, but I think Pac and Hangman Page had the match of the night, and that's just my opinion. Other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and end this podcast. I would like to thank y'all. I would like to thank y'all for listening to us talk our shit again. And this is, you know what? Let me just say podcast, and I'm gonna be out. Peace.
Please.